Hello, today we are going to talk about Lilith again, but this time we are going to channel Lilith for three customers of mine. And they are going to be named under pseudonyms so that nobody can know who they are, but they will know which part of the channeling is theirs. So, today we are going to, before we start channeling, talk about in general Lilith and the current of Lilith, what it entails, what it doesn't entail, and why there are so many misconceptions about Lilith as a force. Um, I need to point out that Lilith have been hijacked by certain ideologues, and they have been propagating certain interpretation of the Lilith story which has nothing to do with the original. Now, regarding this channeling and everything, if anyone wants to contact me to do similar channeling for them or to do any sort of ritual for them, they can contact me through the links in the description. But the part of the story I have to explain here is basically this. So there is a misconception that Lilith is somehow hateful of men and that she demands men to worship women and tolerate female nonsense. And if you do anything to oppose female nonsense, you are a misogynist and you are working against Lilith, etc., etc. You see, you can work with Lilith as a man and you have complete authority to put women in their place if they are exhibiting abusive or nonsensical behavior. You don't have to put up with toxic female nonsense if you are a Lilith person. Now, you have to respect individuality of women, but it doesn't mean that you have to put up with the nonsense. And so a lot of the time, whenever somebody criticizes women or opposes nonsensical behavior women exhibit, you basically are called as somebody who is unworthy of working with Lilith. That's absolute nonsense. The only thing Lilith forbid me to do to women is if a woman breaks up with me, I am forbidden to curse them just because they broke up. But if there was some kind of abusive behavior involved to you by a woman, even if you are in relationship with that woman, you are absolutely allowed to hit them with magic. Lilith has nothing against that. And that's something I have to point out. And that's something I have a lot of the time heard in the occult community. Oh my god, you are basically doing magic on females or whatever. First and foremost, I am not doing any magic on my ex, any baneful magic on my ex. I have no reason to. Me and her are still on fine terms. I just want to clarify that. But in general, I have heard a lot of males who got nonsensical behavior from women and they were like, can I use Lilith on this? And I was like, yeah. Like, woman can be behaving in an abusive, nonsensical manner, in an exploitative manner. If you are a male and you are on the receiving end of this behavior, there is nothing preventing you from throwing stuff at them. The only thing she explicitly forbid me was to curse somebody just because they broke up. Everybody has a reason to leave. If somebody wants a divorce, they will get a divorce. If somebody wants to not be with you, they shouldn't. That's something Lilith is like, okay, if somebody wants to leave you, you should let them leave you. I am not a supporter of you like forcefully keeping people in arrangements they don't like. And that's the only instance Lilith was like, okay, you have to basically not do this. And I was like, okay, fine. And another thing about working with Lilith, another misconception is that Lilith is somehow, against God or the source or the creator. Like Lilith is somehow this anti-cosmic figure, and she's this anti-cosmic female hero, Jesus Christ. She is against everything and everyone, and she is the dark fiend. All of that is nonsense. First and foremost, Lilith's primary function in the lore and energetically is not primarily related to the protection of women. Now, she can be used for protection of women. If you are like a dark female practitioner, you can use Lilith. But origin-wise, lore-wise, she is not related to the protection of women. She is a spirit of storm, chaos, dark knowledge. She understands the dark knowledge of the source, aka God, aka creative consciousness of the universe. And she is fundamentally related to plagues and winds and knowledge and darkness and vampirism. And the act of miscarriage and handling the souls of the miscarried and aborted children. Okay. So those are her primary functions in the lore. Now, as an extremely powerful destructive being, she can also be used in forms of healing and forms of cleansing, as well as forms of protection. In the same way you can use, for example, a wolf to protect yourself, or an aggressive dog to protect yourself. But primary function of Lilith is what I listed, and also inciting sexual desire in people. Okay. So she is primarily spirit of knowledge, destruction, and sexuality. If you want to reduce her to three main components, you can use her to protect a woman, if you are a woman or if you are a man, or you can use her to protect yourself. But presenting ancient Hebrew storm demon of chaos and hidden knowledge as a feminist icon is funny. People who do that never seriously worked with Lilith. All of the feminist wannabe bitches who, claim Lilith relationship, I asked them a few questions, what do you think about mystical abortion right? What do you think about hardcore necromancy? What do you think about hardcore vampirism? What do you think about succubi work? I asked them some serious question, and they are like, oh my god, you are so weird, oh my god, that's so fucked up, I need to go, oh my god, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Like, you start asking serious questions. Or, what about vampiric life force money spells? So, what can you do with Lilith spirits? Vampiric life force money spells. So, basically, you summon Lilith and her spirits, and you give them the object of life force. Okay? So, it can be fruit, it can be animals, it can be anything. And then in return for that life force, they give you the amount of money corresponding to the life force. And this is known as vampiric blood money spells, which is a specific form of money spell Lilith can do. And by the way, when you do money spells with Lilith, what tends to happen is you get that money through sexual means. Now, if you don't want to get that money through sexual means, because Lilith is also a patron of all forms of prostitution, male or female. So she patronizes prostitution as a profession, all forms of it. Now, I am not personally a supporter of prostitution, but it's a fact that Lilith does it, okay? I didn't make it up. So, basically, those are vampiric money spells, which I can also do. Life force for money. Basically, that's the rule. That's how you do money spells with all. Life force for money. Now, all of the controversial aspects of Lilith work, which I listed here, mystical abortion, right, life force for money, all of that I'm going to basically publish in future videos. I decided to publish all of that in the future because fundamentally, if I don't say it, then people who don't do it and who don't understand it slander me and write false rumors about it. When Lilith told me to do it, I made a mistake. I got other people involved and they used it to slander me, to misinterpret those rites, and to basically make up their own version of what those rituals are. And by the way those people presented those rituals and channeled those rituals was completely wrong, okay? That happened 5 years ago. I'm not going to name names, but I'm going to say, in the future, you are getting all of the channeling and all of the explanation of what the rituals I mentioned are in future videos. There's gonna be a lot more content. Now, there is a person listed in this who will receive channeling in this video, who is a student, and she wanted Lilith to improve her studies. Now, as I said before, Lilith is spirit of the dark side of knowledge. That also includes all sciences, right? I am talking about all sciences, not just sciences related to sex, okay? So, you can effectively use Lilith to pass an exam. I used Lilith to pass majority of the exams I passed. Actually, Lilith was more effective in me passing exams than Paimon was. And Paimon is known to be effective with exams. And Lilith is effective with exams, especially if you have female professors. And especially if those professors are older women. Because of something I am not going to discuss in this video, Lilith has much easier time influencing women which are older than 39. I'm gonna talk about it in the future content, but for now, this is enough. Okay, now I did a heavy introduction about Lilith and about the lore and about the energies she represents, to clarify for the audience some misconceptions. And now we are going to do channeling for the customer which calls himself Zion1, and that's gonna be the first channeling of the video. I'm going to recite the Barhati and invoke Lilith. Barhami Velgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Narka Pargashal Mashkatiatat Falon Farshangashkati Marshal Dakrashkas Masbilet and Tarata Gidia Shamsia Consimia Simia Kadba Mashko Kerusa Kabara Birushala Hoinkakil Barjalat Masaya Mahajalaj Habiash. I call you servants of those names to call Lilith into my flesh. Barhami Velgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Narka Pargashal Mashkatiatat Falon Farshangashkati Marshal Dakrash Kazmas bilet and Tarata Gidia Shamsia Consimia Simia Kadma Mashko Kerusa Kabara Birushala Hoinkakil Barjalat Masaya Mahajalaj Habiash. I call you servants of those names to call Lilith into my flesh. By the power of Barhami Belgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Narka Bargashal Mashkati Edat Valos Versha Gashkati Marshal Dakrash Kazmas Bilet and Tarata Gidia Shamsia Consimia Simia Kadma Mashko Kerusa Kabara Birushala Hoinkakil Barjalat Masaya Mahajalaj Habiash. I call you servants of those names to call Lilith into my flesh. By the power of Barhami Balgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Narga Bargashal Mashkati Edat Valos Versha Gashati Marshalak Dagrash Cosmas Bilet and Rado Gidiasham Ziakozimia Zimia Kalbamash Girlzaka Parabirusha Ganga Barjalat Nazia Majalat Vadiaviash. I call you servants of those names to call Lilith into my flesh. By the power of Barhami Balgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Narga Bargajal Margadia Marjalak Dagrash Cosmas Bilet and Rado Gidiasham Ziakozimia Zimia Kalbamash Girlzaka Parabirusha Ganga Barjalat Nazia Majalat Vadiaviash. I call you servants of those names to call Lilith into my flesh. By the power of Barhami Balgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Narga Bargajal Margadia Marjalak Marjalak Dagrash Cosmas Bilet and Rado Gidiasham Ziakozimia Zimia Kalbamash Girlzaka Parabirusha Ganga Barjalat Nazia Majalat Vadiaviash. By the power of those divine names I call Lilith into my flesh. By the power of Barhami Balgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Narka Bargashal Mashkatia Dat van Utvarshan Kashakatim Marshalak Dakrash Cosmas Bilet Natarata Gidiasham Ziakozimia Simia Kadamash Girlzaka Parabirusha Allah Wankagahil Barjalat Masia Majalat Vadiaviash. Oh Lilith, by the power of those divine names I call you into my flesh. You wish to learn astral projection. You wish to fly. It is too early for you to fly. There is a preparation you have to do under my supervision. Summon me in the night to the dark moon and vampirize your foes, vampirize your enemies, vampirize the people you hate and detest. Once your astral body learns this craft, you will be able to move your energy effectively. That is really important in soul realm. Vampirism features that. Once that is mastered, you will fly. After every session of vampirism, you should ask me to astral project you in your dreams as you sleep. That way, you will train your body. To soul drown. There is one more thing I would require. You need to bring me the bone of the chicken. Inscribe your name upon it with anything. You can even find a piece of paper and then write your name on the piece of paper and tie it to the chicken bone. You need to summon me and dig a chicken bone into the ground. You need to bury. In my presence, once that is done, it will be a symbolic initiation into my power and realms. My energy will flow through you. Our contact will be much easier. Consecration of the chicken bone isn't necessary. The bearing of the bone will consecrate the bone enough. So she left. The channeling for Zion is over. Now, it kind of made me really busy. I don't know, will I be able to do 4 channelings back to back? 4 sessions? I have no fucking idea. But I'm gonna give one anecdote for the viewers. When I was really inexperienced and I approached working with Iblis in a really retarded manner, in a really blasphemous manner which doesn't use divine names or anything like that. Jin asked me to do the similar thing, and I buried my own name in their presence on the Iblis's instructions. It created a long-lasting connection between me and his entities, including Paimon. Now, Paimon and Iblis are not directly answering to each other, but sometimes they work with each other, sometimes they don't. Paimon is known to mediate between different genic tribes as a diplomat, and he has his own interests, but sometimes he works with Iblis together. And in that ritual, Paimon was present when I buried my own name into the ground. This seems to be something they demand as a form of, I'm not gonna say initiation, I'm gonna say a rite of passage. It's a form of a rite of passage, you know, to go into the desolate area, summon the jinn, and then bury your name with object which is associated with them. It basically infuses you with enormous amount of energy and makes you different. It permanently changes your psyche in a way I have yet to understand. And that seems to be what Lilith wants from Zion here. That seems to be what is happening. And that seems to me to be my impression of this. Now we're gonna do the first channeling for the man named Ahmed7. That's how we're gonna call him. Ahmed7. Okay. Now, I don't know what's gonna come, so I'm just gonna invoke. I invoke you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Balgatam Turan Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gashal Margadi that Balot Versan Kashati Marshal Agdagrash Cosmas Bilas Narotaki the Argentino Zimia Zimia Gadbamar Gurza Gabara Berojala Wenga Yalbarjala Nazia Marshal Brandia Piash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Balgatam Turan Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gashal Margadi that Balot Versan Kashati Marshal Agdagrash Cosmas Bilas Narotaki the Argentino Zimia Zimia Gadbamar Gurza Gabara Berojala Wenga Yalbarjala Nazia Marshal Brandia Piash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Malgadam Duran Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gardal Margadi that Balduran Gardi Marjal Agdaras Gazmas Bilindra the Gidi Adam Zimia Zimia Gadma Margir Gabara Berujala Wenga Yalbarjala Mazia Marjal Arvandi Abiash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Malgadam Duran Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gardal Margadi that Balduran Gardi Marjal Agdaras Gazmas Bilindra the Gidi Adam Zimia Zimia Gadma Margir Gabara Berujala Wenga Yalbarjala Mazia Marjal Arvandi Abiash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Malgadam Duran Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gardal Margadi that Balduran Gardi Marjal Agdaras Gazmas Bilindra the Gidi Adam Zimia Zimia Gadma Margir Gabara Berujala Wenga Yalbarjala Mazia Marjal Arvandi Abiash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Malgadam Duran Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gardal Margadi that Balduran Gardi Marjal Agdaras Gazmas Gidi Adam Zimia Zimia Gadma Margir Gabara Berujala Wenga Yalbarjala Mazia Marjal Arvandi Abiash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Malgadam Duran Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gardal Margadi that Balduran Gardi Marjal Agdaras Gazmas Gidi Adam Zimia Zimia Gadma Margir Gabara Berujala Wenga Yalbarjala Mazia Marjal Arvandi Abiash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Malgadam Duran Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gardal Margadi that Balduran Gardi Marjal Agdaras Gazmas Gidi Adam Zimia Zimia Gadma Margir Gabara Berujala Wenga Yalbarjala Mazia Marjal Arvandi Abiash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Malgadam Duran Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gardal Margadi that Balduran Gardi Marjal Agdaras Gazmas Bilindra the Gidi Adam Zimia Zimia Gadma Margir Gabara Berujala Wenga Yalbarjala Mazia Marjal Arvandi Abiash. I call you, Lilith, by the power of Barhami Malgadam Duran Mardar Marjal Gabbar Gardal Margadi that Balduran Gardi Marjal Agdaras Gazmas Bilindra the Gidi Adam Zimia Zimia Gadma Margir Gabara Berujala Wenga Yalbarjala Mazia Marjal Arvandi Abiash. I invoke you, Lilith. What he needs to do is the following. He needs to stop thinking, when I am here, I am here. And what he needs to focus on is he needs to tell me what to do. He needs to use my impulse, my power, to change his life. He calls me and summons me for the purpose of astral senses development, astral projection, and spiritual insight. But he should stop pursuing exclusively spiritual matters. That is not how we operate. We connect with people through the material. And if you pursue certain spiritual results, you can achieve them through material experience. Now, if he wishes to know what he is supposed to do, I will give him the ritual. He needs 2 white candles and 7 coins, 1 glass of wine, and incense. He needs to summon me in the dark room or outside when the moon is waxing in the first quarter. Preferably, the hour should be that of Jupiter, preferably nightly hour. He needs to summon me with the usual conjuration. I will come. Then he needs to light 2 white candles and lay the coins in front of me, anoint them with wine, and ask me for monetary improvement. I will bring him the money. The energy of wine and candles will be enough for him to receive monetary increase. She should repeat this ritual, or to be more precise, he, every month at least once. He needs to take care of his finances, invest more, and earn more. Okay. So now I will do another channeling for the person and client of mine known as S2 or Sabrina 2. That's how we're gonna call her for the purpose of this. So her identity is protected. She asked Lilith to help her in her studies and protect her. And I'm going to channel Lilith on her behalf, but first I have to give commentary on what was said to Ahmed1 in his channeling. I have to give commentary. So I don't remember everything, but what I remember from this is a really clear message that when you work with those beings, when you work with those entities, what you essentially have to do is you have to put your material circumstances in a certain condition so that their power can materialize in your life. Specifically, that was the main message of the channeling. I forgot the details, like I don't know the number of coins. Considering that she asked for coins, the strongest coins in this case would be silver coins, but because silver is expensive, he can use ordinary ones, because in my experience ordinary ones work as much as silver ones most of the time. Silver coins are really expensive, so sometimes it's not necessarily worth it to spend all of the money. And that's my take on that channel. Why 2 candles? Don't ask me. Why this moon phase? Don't ask me. I have no fucking idea. Now, after I rest a little bit and charge myself a little bit, we're gonna go into Sabrina's session. Hello. Barhami Belgadam Doran Mardar Marjalan Gambar Gajal Margadia that one was Rashanka the Marjal the Grash Kazmas Bilet Zarata Gidia Shamsia Consimia Simia Kadba Mashku Karuza Kapara Birushala Gwenga Yel Barjala Mazia Marjala Vandia Biaj. By the power of those divine names, I call you servants of divine names, of those to invoke Lilith into my body. By the power of Barami Malgadam Doran Mardar Marjal Narga Bargajal Margadia that Valodar Shankar the Marjal the Grash Kazmas Bilet the Gidia Simia Simia Kadba Mashku Karuza Kapara Birusha Alawenga Yel Barjala Mazia Marjala Vandia Biaj. I call you and invoke you, Lilith, by the power of those divine names. By the power of Barhami, Valgadam, Toran, Mardar, Marjal, Nangam, Margaret, Margadi, Shankar, the Marshal, like the Rashgas, Masbil, the Radagidi, Ajam, Jago, Sibia, Sibia, Kasbama, Kalzaka, Barapirusha, Hakil, Marshal, Masia, Marshal, Viash. I invoke you, Lilith, by the power of those names. By the power of Barhami, Valgadam, Toran, Mardar, Marjal, Nanga, Bargashal, Margadi, the Shankar, the Marshal, like the Rashgas, Masbil, the Radagidi. Shamsia Consimia Simia Kadamar Galuza Kabara Birujala Wengal Barjala Mazia Majala Viaj. I invoke you, Lilith, by the power of those names. By the power of Barham Balgadam Doran Mardar Marjal Bargajal Margadia that Valodar Shankar the Marshalak. The crash cosmos village and Radagidi Shamsia Consimia Simia Kadamar Galuza Kabara Birujala Wengal Barjala Mazia Majala Viaj. I invoke you, Lilith, by the power of those names. By the power of Barham Velgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Nargam Bargadal Margadia Rankara the Marjalak Dagrash Kazmas Village and Radagadia Shamsia Honsimia Simia Kalba Mashko Yaluza Kabara Birusha La Quenka Yel Barjalat Mazia Marjalat Vandia Viash. I invoke you, Lilith, by the power of those names. By the power of Barham Velgatam Toran Mardar Marjal Nargam Bargashal Marjadia that Valamat Rashankara the Marjalak Dagrash Kazmas Village and Radagadia Shamsia Cosimia Simia Kalba Margaluza Kabara Birujala Quenka Yel Barjalat Mazia Marjalat Vandia Biash. I invoke you, Lilith, by the power of those names. By the power of Barham Melgadam Doran Maridar Marjal Narga Bargajal Margadia that Valamat the Marjalak the Grash Gazmas Bilan Radagidi Ramzi Cosimia Simia Kalba Margaluza Kabara Birujala Quenka Yel Marjalat Mazia Marjalat Vandia Biash. I invoke you, Lilith, by the power of those names. You don't need to do elaborate rites to contact me. That is not required. Simply raise the sacred space and chant Artavana Lilithanu Hanai Ata Vas. Artavana Lilithanu Hanai Arta Vas. Artavana Lilithanu Tanai Arta Vas. Artavana Lilithanu Tanai Arta Vas. Repeat the chant 1,000 times. You will feel me some days you won't feel me. It depends on your mental state at the time. Don't be burdened. I am here. I am protecting you, as we agree. I am helping you in your studies, as we agree. Every time you finish chanting, you should draw my schedule and put it in your notebook. Then you should scribe over the sigil so it is absolutely unrecognizable. As my way to influence you during the studies or exams. You should only do it, the sigil scribing, before important events. You don't have to do it every day. However, doing it after every ritual will increase our connection. You can do this ritual as often as you see fit. Your astral senses will open over time. Chakra work, breathing and relaxing are fundamental. You should also look into Tai Chi and energy work. Creation of chi balls, and you should learn how to change your energy flow through movement. Now I'm going to teach you the exercise. You are going to move your hands like this. Then you are going to focus on energy flowing between your hands, and you should push that energy and shape it like a ball, shape it like a sphere. Now you should visualize and focus to be energy of the cold, dark wind. Once you created the ball, you should focus on devouring it. First, learn how to create the ball of cold energy, then start eating it. It will take you time. You should also look into other Tai Chi exercises and forms of energy work. This was just the beginning. Okay, so interesting. I never had a case of spirits suggesting Tai Chi to somebody. It's really, really interesting. It's intriguing. It's deeply intriguing. Maybe I should look into it too, you know. It's something I really never checked out. Like, I never checked Tai Chi or classical energy work. It was never my cup of tea. I don't do it. It's not my style. And even like this tree ball exercise, like my hands are kind of cold. I don't like this, but it's not for me. It's for the girl. You know, different people, different suggestions. What do I know? You know. Okay, now I have one more. So this last one was the last channeling, but it is for the same person, Ahmed1. So Ahmed actually gets 2 channelings today according to the deal we made. Varami belgadam toran mardar marjanlar kabarga shalmashkati that valon frashangaskati marshalak the crash kazmas bilet natarata gidia shamsia konsimia simia kadbamash keruza kabara birushala honkahil bajalad masea majalas rodia viaj. I call you servants of those names to call Lilith into my body. By the power of Barhami belgadam toran mardar marjanlar kabarga shalmashkati that valon frashangaskati marshalak the crash Kazmas bilet natarata gidia shamsia konsimia simia kadbamash I invoke you, Lilith, by the power of those names. By the power of Barhami Belgadam Toran Mardar Marjalarga Margashal Mashkadi, that all for Shankashadi Marshalan, the Krashkat must be like the Radaki, Kaldamargial, Zakamara Birujala, Wenga, Yobajal, Maziamajal, the Aviash. I invoke you by the power of those names. By the power of Barhami Belgadam Toran Mardar Marjalarga Margashal Mashkadi, that all Shankashadi Marshalan, the Krashkat must be like the Radaki, Cashap. I invoke you by the power of Barhami Melgadam Turan Mardar Marjala Gambar I invoke you by the power of Barhami Melgadam Turan Mardar Marjala Gambar I invoke you by the power of Barhami Melgadam Turan Mardar Marjala Gambar Marjala Rankari Marjala Nagrashkas Mazbila Taratakia Shamsiku Simia Kadma Mashkil Gamara Mirujala Wenga Yalbajala Mazia Marjala Abiaj. You need to invoke me. Call me into your body. We will do it a simple way. When I arrive, tell me to go into your body and open your mouth. My energy will push itself into your mouth and I will enter. Close your mouth and then state the following sentence. Lilith, the first woman, the mother of ghosts, come and in my body drain my enemies. Give their energy to me and to yourself. Let's drink their blood together. Lilith ertabanu khas. Lilith ertabanu khas. Lilith ertabanu khas. Do it once a week until you are charged. That is the exercise I command. That is what I give you as a gift. When I enter you, I will not take your energy. The blood of your enemies will be drunk and will be with me as one. Okay, so Ahmed seems to be basically really guided to vaporize. That seems to be what he should focus on. That seems to be what he should do. And if you wanna something like this to be done for you, contact me through the links in the description. Like and subscribe.